You are a curse. All you have brought to this family is bad luck.
In part 1, they blamed her for ruining his life. But one message changed everything. Ask him about 2015. Tonight, the silence breaks, and the truth may destroy everything they thought they knew. Before we continue, kindly hit the subscribe button so you do not miss out on another powerful story coming soon.
The messages wouldn't leave her mind. Ask him about 2015. Ask him what he did before he married you. They are blaming you for what he caused. The words repeated themselves in her head like a drumbeat that refused to fade. She stared at her phone for almost a full minute, reading the messages again and again, trying to understand the meaning behind them. Tund was in the shower, humming quietly, like a man who didn't know his world was about to be questioned. Lara sat on the edge of the bed, confusion sitting heavily on her shoulders. Who would send that? Someone from Tund's family? Someone trying to help? Someone trying to break the marriage? What happened in 2015? She tried to recall anything, any story, any secret, any whisper, but nothing came. Everything she knew about Tund's life before they married was simple. He worked in a small firm. His family depended on him. He struggled financially. His father gave him no support. His mother was dramatic. His siblings followed him around like he was their parent. And he once said 2015 was rough. But that was all. What was she missing? A soft dread began to crawl up her spine. When Tund stepped out of the bathroom, towel around his waist, humming a gospel tune, Lara looked at him, really looked at him, and saw a man carrying something heavy, something secret. Tund, she said quietly. He paused, noticing her tone. Yes. She held up her phone. Did anything happen in 2015? He froze. The towel dropped slightly from his hand. The humming stopped. His shoulders stiffened. His face went blank for a second. Just 1 second, but it was enough. He hid the expression too late. She saw it. Tund, she repeated, voice trembling. What happened in 2015? Why are you asking that? He said too quickly. A message came to my phone. A message? He snapped, eyes widening. From who? I don't know. The person said I should ask you about 2015. That I should ask what you did before you married me. And that your family is blaming me for something you caused. Tund stared at her, the blood draining from his face. Her heartbeat pounded in her ears as she whispered, Tund, what happened? He looked away. And that was her answer. Something happened. Something real. Something dangerous. Something he didn't want her to know. He sat on the bed, elbows on his knees, hands covering his face. Lara, he whispered, his voice cracking slightly. It's complicated. She felt her stomach tighten. You owe me the truth. He stayed silent. Lara stood up. Tund, talk to me. You went to your family's house today and heard them call me all sorts of things. I stood there, alone. I fought for myself, alone. And now, someone is telling me the cause of all this confusion is something you did. He looked at her slowly. His eyes were red. Not from anger. From fear. He swallowed hard. Lara, please. Don't push this. She blinked, startled. Why? Because, he whispered. You might not like the answer. Silence filled the room again. A thick, heavy silence. Lara sat beside him, her voice soft. Tund, we have been married for 10 years. I have stood with you in everything. There is nothing, nothing. You can tell me that will chase me away. But this silence? This hiding? It will destroy us. He rubbed his hands over his face, shaking slightly. I didn't want you to see me differently. Talk, she whispered. Please. He exhaled deeply. Then the story began. In 2015, he said slowly, I made the worst mistake of my life. Lara's chest tightened. He continued, voice low, trembling around the edges. Back then I was desperate. Things were hard. I was broke. My job was shaky. My family kept pressuring me. I was trying to save everybody, and I was drowning. She listened, heart pounding. And in that desperation, I did something stupid. What did you do? He looked at her, a long, painful look. I went to a place I shouldn't have gone. Lara frowned. A place. A spiritual place, he admitted quietly. A herbalist. A man people said could open doors. Her breath caught. Tund. He nodded, shame filling his face. I didn't believe in that kind of thing, but I was desperate. Deo took me there. He convinced me that if I didn't get help, my life would remain the same. So you went. I went, he whispered. And I agreed to something. What did you agree to? Lara whispered. He closed his eyes tightly, as if the memory pained him physically. The man said, I needed to make a promise. A vow. Something that would tie my future to my family. That no matter what happened, no matter where I went, no matter who I married, my life would be tied to them. My success would belong to them. Lara frowned. What does that mean? It means, he whispered, I vowed that nothing in my life would move unless my family approved it. It means I tied my destiny to them. Her hands went cold. He continued shakily. I was young. Stupid. Desperate. I thought it wasn't serious. I thought the man was just talking. I didn't take it seriously. I forgot about it. Lara swallowed hard. But why didn't you tell me this? Because, he said, voice breaking, 3 months after I made that vow, things started to go wrong. My job collapsed. Opportunities disappeared. Every plan failed. And your family blamed me, Lara whispered. Because they saw you as the only new thing in my life, he said quietly. But the truth is, it started before you came. The room fell silent. Painful, heartbreaking silence. So, Lara whispered, voice shaking, all this while, all these years, your family has been attacking me for a problem caused by a vow you made? He nodded slowly. And you didn't tell me? I couldn't, he whispered. I didn't know how to explain it. I thought the problem would go away. I thought if I worked hard enough, prayed enough, lived well enough, it would break. But it didn't. It just got worse. And your family? She asked bitterly. They don't know, he said. They never knew. Only Deo knows. And he told me never to mention it. He said if people know, they will call me cursed. They will say I destroyed my own life. Lara stared at him like he was a stranger. A man she did not know. So instead, she whispered, they blamed me. Tund covered his face again. I'm sorry, he said. I thought I was protecting you. I thought if you never knew, things would stay okay. But things are not okay, she said, tears falling freely. Your mother wants you to return me. Your siblings insult me. Your family calls me bad luck. They treat me like I stole your future. Meanwhile, you were the one who... He looked up, eyes filled with shame. Yes, he whispered. I caused it. Lara stood up slowly, shaking her head in disbelief. Tund. You let me suffer for something you did. He didn't answer. You watched your family disgrace me. You watched them insult me. You watched them call me a curse. And you kept quiet. He bowed his head. You kept quiet, she repeated, voice cracking. For 10 years. He whispered. I was afraid. The doorbell rang. They both froze. The bell rang again. Louder. Impatient. Who is that? Lara asked. Tund stood slowly, dread on his face. I'm not expecting anyone. The bell rang a 3rd time. Then a man's voice called from outside. Open this door. All of us need to talk. Now. It was Deo. And he wasn't alone. Voices gathered at the door. Angry voices. Lara felt her heart drop. Something was coming. Something big. Something dangerous. And this time, it wasn't from his mother. It wasn't from neighbors. It wasn't gossip. This time it was the truth. Knocking. Loud. Impatient. Unavoidable.
If you have listened this far, please don't forget to like the story and hit on the subscribe button. Thank you.
The knocking grew louder, angrier, as if the people outside were ready to break down the door. Tund. Deo shouted again. Open this door before I scatter this place. Lara's heart thudded painfully inside her chest. She looked at her husband, and her fear doubled. Tund was shaking. Not small shaking. Deep, uncontrollable trembling, like a man watching his past rising from the grave. "Tund," she whispered. "What is happening?" He couldn't answer. He just wiped his face endlessly, rubbing his palms together like someone trying to wash off a stain that would not go away. The knocking intensified. "Tund!" Another voice barked, deeper, rougher. "You think we came to joke? Open this door." Lara moved toward the door instinctively, but Tund grabbed her hand. "No," he whispered. "Don't open it." "Why?" "Tund, what is going on?" "Please," he whispered. "Just let me think." But it was too late. The knocking had turned into hitting. Hard blows. Someone was ramming the door from outside. Lara felt panic rising up her throat. "Tund, they will break the door." He didn't move. He just stood there like the ground had swallowed his courage. The blows suddenly stopped. Silence filled the house for a brief, terrifying moment. Then, the door burst open with a loud crack. Lara screamed. Tund staggered backward. The door swung inwards violently, its lock broken. 4 men walked in. Deo, 2 of Tund's cousins, and a 4th man Lara had never seen before. Tall, dark, with a scar across his cheek and eyes so cold they could freeze a river. He was the one holding a metal rod. Deo shoved the door fully open and entered with fury in his eyes. "Tund," he said, his voice low, tight with rage. "You think you can run away from this thing?" Tund swallowed hard, voice barely audible. "Deo, please." "No," the tall man with the scar snapped. "There's no more please. Not today." Lara tried to steady her voice. "What is the meaning of all this? Why are you barging into our house?" Deo turned sharply to her, and for a moment, she saw something she had never seen in his eyes. Fear. Not fear of her. Fear of what was coming. He pointed at her. "Madam, you need to sit down. Things are about to get rough." "No one will sit," Tund shouted suddenly, surprising everyone. "Deo, you didn't have to bring them." "I said I will handle it." "You!" Deo barked a bitter laugh. "You that has been running for 10 years? You think today is another day to hide?" Lara's confusion was growing into something darker, a cold fear that felt like it was crawling into her bones. "What are you talking about?" she whispered. Deo looked at her with a mixture of pity and urgency. "You married a man who has been carrying a secret bigger than your marriage. A secret that has started catching up with him." The tall man with the scar stepped forward. "Let's stop talking in circles. Tund, where is it?" Tund flinched. "I don't have it." "You lie," the man roared. Lara's blood froze. "What is he talking about?" she asked, voice shaking. Deo closed his eyes briefly, then said quietly, "The reason we came is simple. Something your husband was supposed to return since 2015. Something he took. They have come for it." "Took what?" Lara whispered. Tund's lips trembled. "Deo, don't do this here. We have no choice." Deo snapped. "You refuse to come out and face your mess. Now it has come to your house." Lara looked from one man to another, her heart cracking with fear and disbelief. "What did he take?" she repeated, voice cracking. The tall man with the scar turned to her, his stare piercing. "In 2015, he said slowly, your husband collected something from a man he had no business visiting. Something sacred. Something that should never be taken out of that shrine." Lara felt dizzy. "Shrine." Tund grabbed her arm. "Lara, please. Don't listen." The tall man pushed Tund aside with one rough shove. Lara gasped. "Hey! Don't touch my husband." He ignored her. "Tund," he growled. "Return it or someone in this house will pay for it." "Return what?" Lara cried, stepping between them. There was a long, tense silence. Then Deo said it. "The vow wasn't just spoken. It was sealed. With an object. A small carved wooden piece." Lara frowned. "Wooden piece." Tund shut his eyes, tears slipping down his face. Deo sighed heavily. "Your husband took something from that shrine, and for 10 years, the owners have been looking for it." Lara stared at Tund, trembling. "What did you take?" He whispered something too quietly to hear. "What?" she said. He raised his head slowly. "It's called an ori," he said hoarsely. "A carved head. Symbolic. I didn't know it had power." The herbalist told me it was just a sign of destiny. A symbol. He said nothing would happen. He lied. Where is it? The tall man demanded. Tund shook his head. I don't have it. The man grabbed him by the shirt and slammed him into the wall. Stop it! Lara screamed, grabbing the man's arm, trying to pull him off. The man didn't look at her. Didn't even blink. He pinned Tund harder. Tund, he growled. If you don't return it tonight, you will not live to see tomorrow. Lara froze. Her breath disappeared. Tund gasped. I lost it. For the first time, the room fell completely silent. You what? Deo whispered. Shocked. Tund slid to the floor, shaking. I lost it. I hid it somewhere in 2016 and I forgot the location. I've been searching for years. I couldn't find it. Deo looked like he had seen a ghost. The tall man's eyes hardened. His hand moved slowly to his back pocket. He brought out something shiny. Lara's heart stopped. A knife. She screamed. No. What is all this? Somebody explain. Please. The man stepped closer. Madam, he said, his voice low and deadly calm, if your husband doesn't return that thing, you will both be in danger. Those people don't forgive. What people? Lara cried. The man stared at her long and hard. Then he said, the man your husband collected it from is dead. But his covenant is not. Lara felt her throat closing. What does that mean? She whispered. The man stepped back slowly, putting the knife away. Then he said something that froze her blood. You think this is ordinary bad luck? You think his family is the problem? You think marriage pressure caused all this? He pointed at Tund. That man sold his future. And part of yours. Lara staggered backward as if she'd been hit. No, she whispered. No. Deo rubbed his forehead. Lara, that vow wasn't just about tying his destiny to his family. It was an exchange. Exchange? She whispered. He exchanged something, Deo said. His peace. His progress. His stability. And the person he loved the most was destined to feel the weight of it. Lara's breath caught. The person he loved, she repeated. Her eyes widened with slow, painful realization. She looked at Tund. He looked at her. Tears flooded his eyes. I didn't know, he whispered. I swear. I didn't know it would affect you. I didn't know you would be the one to suffer. Lara felt like the ground was collapsing beneath her. The tall man continued, voice deep and cold. That vow was supposed to bind him alone. But he broke the rule when he took the Ori out of the shrine. His punishment extended to the person who joined her life with his. Lara sank onto the couch, covering her mouth, shaking violently. Tund, she whispered, barely able to breathe. You ruined my life to save yours. He crawled toward her on his knees, sobbing. Lara, I thought I was doing the right thing. I thought it was just small spiritual thing. I didn't know. The tall man interrupted sharply. Enough. Tonight is the deadline. We didn't come here to beg. We came for the Ori. Return it or face the consequences. Tund shook his head violently. I don't have it. I've tried. The tall man moved toward him again. But Lara stood up suddenly. Her voice shook, but her eyes were fierce. What will happen, she whispered, if he doesn't find it? The tall man stared at her. Then he said quietly, his life will start to disappear, piece by piece. Lara swallowed hard. And me, she whispered. He did not answer. But the silence was answer enough. Lara closed her eyes. A slow, painful tear slipped down her cheek. When she opened her eyes again, everything changed. She looked at Tund with a calmness that frightened even him. She said quietly, you need to tell them the full truth. All of it. He looked confused. Lara? Tell them, she insisted, voice cold. Tell them what happened the day you lost it. Deo frowned. What is she talking about? The tall man stepped forward. What happened that day? Tund froze. The color drained from his face. He began to shake again. Lara whispered, tell them. Who was with you? Deo stiffened. The tall man's eyes narrowed. Who was with you? He demanded. Tund stared at Lara with wide, terrified eyes. His lips trembled. He looked at Deo, then at the tall man, then at Lara again. Finally, he whispered one sentence. A sentence that shattered the entire room. I didn't lose it. Everyone went still. He swallowed hard. His voice broke. I gave it to someone. The tall man roared. To who? Tun's whole body trembled as he whispered the name. And that name? Change everything. He said. I gave it to your father. The tall man gasped and staggered backward. Deo shouted. Tund, are you mad? Lara clutched her chest. The room exploded into chaos. And the truth had only just begun.
If you've enjoyed this story, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. More powerful stories like this are coming.